Okay, so let's actually head up now. And I'd like for us to head back to the galaxy map and see what we have next to do here after having concluded that mission. So as we were saying, Tali now, at least theoretically, has the things that she needs to complete her pilgrimage, and that is her pseudo-loyalty mission, if you will, for Mass Effect 1, so very important that we made the point of doing that. And before I forget, the other thing I just want to do here is I believe we were talking a little bit previously about how we had maybe some weak items that we would eventually just want to Omni-Gel, because at this point, a Kessler 1, basically the starting pistol, not really worth much of anything at this point, so we might as well turn it into Omni-Gel. It's more valuable in that form than it is selling it for a tiny bit of credits. And then I think starting Omni Tools, hey, you could potentially make a case for holding on to those just because a little bit of a different stat distribution, but then again, I mean, the Logic Arrest tool here is just an objectively better version of the same thing based on the stats we're seeing here, so I think we can definitely safely Omni-Gel those. And then similar story for our starting biotic amps as well. And that'll just give us a little bit more space as well, and even on our armor side, I'm pretty sure this was our starting armor for Shepard, if not maybe Caden. So let's dump that, and then Tali's starting armor, I believe, here as well. Those things, again, just being level 1, they were worth next to nothing, like single-digit, maybe double-digit credits. But statistically, more or less insignificant. But anyways, let's take a look at our galaxy map here and plot out what our next plan might be.
Message from Admiral Hackett, Commander. Patching it through.
Oh, okay.
We just received your report. Looks like this Geth incursion was bigger than we thought. They were probably preparing for a major offensive in the system. We're increasing patrols in the Armstrong cluster to make sure they can't establish another foothold in the region. Nice job, Shepard. You saved a lot of human lives on this mission. Hack it out.
Awesome. So yeah, that's in response to the mission that we just completed with our various Geth bases that we took down. And yeah, good point. Good point, Tetwin. We do, in fact, want to make sure that we still sell enough things to get the rich achievement, which I believe, as you were mentioning there, is the only way to unlock basically the best gear in the game. So we will make a point of selling more things, for sure. It's just that when it comes to the really low-level stuff, like level 1, level 2, potentially even level 3 and 4 gear, it's worth, in the grand scheme of things, very, very little. And so it's probably better to just turn that stuff into Omni-Gel, and then, you know, as you get later along in the game, as we're starting to be now, and you start getting level 7, even 8 stuff, as you start to get repeats of those types of gear, then definitely sell those. Those will be worth far, far more, orders of magnitude more credits. And of course, you know, once you start accumulating all those, you'll also start to have more outdated level 5, 6 gear that, you know, you can probably part ways with as well. And so collectively across all those things, those are the types of things that, of course, once you get even higher level, up to level 10, you get repeats of those, then you're making the big money. But that's how I think we will definitely make sure that we still achieve the rich achievement. And of course, just generally speaking, by doing lots of side quests, that definitely helps as well. Because, of course, that means sometimes you just get credits directly from completing quests. Sometimes it almost always means you're getting more gear from that, which of course means more things to sell. And since we are basically doing a 100% playthrough, that does mean that, you know, we're gonna get that achievement. It's mostly just a matter of how quickly exactly, and actually, as we were talking about a while back, the fastest way to do it is technically by using the, what were we calling it? Not glitch, the exploit, I believe is the word we were using, with Dr. Michel and the tradespeople in the wards, where you can just flip things back and forth between those two and get infinite money. So if you really want to unlock that achievement as quickly as possible, that is, technically speaking, probably the best way to do that, or at least the fastest way to do that, although it is obviously a little bit tedious and more efficient later you do it in the game when you have more expensive items to flip, because you'll get more monies per flip. So I think we'll be fine. It's just something to bear in mind, and so thanks for raising that point. But what I want to do today is I want to check out the Styx Theta cluster, which I believe is a cluster that we only first saw show up after we completed, what was it? Novaria. And so, although this has now shown up on our galaxy map, we've never actually explored it. So I'd like for us to poke our heads in here and see what kind of stuff we can find. And so we have, let's see, 2 clusters here. We have Erodus, and we have Archeron, and we don't really know much about either of these clusters, I don't think. All that we know is that at the very beginning of this game, these clusters were not available to us. This 6 Theta area was totally a mystery to us. So I think, why don't we start with Erebus, and we'll kind of go left to right here. Let's see what the deal is.
Commander, we've got an incoming distress signal. Patching through to you.
Mayday! 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 This is Lieutenant Marie Durand, 314th Infantry, Alliance 10th Frontier Division. The listening post has been overrun by unidentified hostile life forms. Request immediate extraction.
That sounds important. Okay. I think we have immediately found something that we are probably looking to do here. So we go to Nepmos, we can see this is in fact a planet where we can land. Nepmos is a resource-rich terrestrial world, somewhat larger than Earth, with a dense atmosphere of sulfur dioxide and argon. Nepmos' crust is very thin and unstable, not more than 8 kilometers deep in any location. Subsurface magma flows are a hazard to ground travel, and earthquakes are frequent. While heavy metals and radioactives are plentiful, this geological instability has deterred investment by mining concerns. An additional complication is that the Styx cluster lies uncomfortably close to the 5 kiloparsec ring around the galactic core. The ring contains a great deal of molecular hydrogen, fueling the majority of the galaxy's star formation. This area is too dangerous to safely travel. Oh, okay, so interesting risk-reward where as nice resources, but at the end of the day, it's probably too dangerous. I also like, if you're looking at the planet itself, then you can see the movement of, I guess, clouds? Although I'm not sure if the surface is that tectonically active that we're actually seeing the magma. Technically, Lids, it would be lava if it's about this. Alright, it would technically be lava, you're right. Moving around. But I don't think we've seen that on many, if any, other planets thus far. But it's a little toasty, otherwise somewhat similar to Earth. So we will, of course, end up landing here, eventually. But let's just take a look around this area first. We'll see if there's anything in this little asteroid belt around here. Been sneaking past us? I don't think so. I don't think so. That means next would be Quaji. Quaji is a terrestrial planet with an atmosphere of methane and ethane. The surface is composed of silica and deposits of uranium and heavy metals. Clouds of small water ice crystals are common. Quaji's skies are full of fine silica dust. From the surface, the sky has a pronounced salmon hue. The cursory initial scans from the line surveyor ship Ibn Battuta showed geometric patterns in the northern hemisphere desert, visible only in ultralight band. Normandy's sensors see nothing of the kind. Not sure what to make of that, but we can survey it. We'll find a heavy metal. Scans of Quaji have revealed several deposits of platinum. Okay, that sounds good to me. Then we have this guy over here, which is Wormani. Wormani has only been visited by a single unmanned probe. It is a stranded hydrogen-helium gas giant with large formations of water vapor clouds in the upper atmosphere. We can survey it. So let's do that. Protein data disk recovered. Scans of the planet Wormani turn up a few odd readings. Chief Engineer Adams fine-tuned the scans and discovered an automated repair drone in orbit. Hallie and Adams brought the drone on board to dismantle it and found a protein data disk in its core. Okay. Very good. And lastly, we have Chaffin. And Chaffin is an unusually small hydrogen-helium gas giant with traces of sulfur and hydrocarbons in the atmosphere. The Alliance surveyor ship, Ibn Battuta, reported inconclusive evidence of hydrocarbon life in the deeper layers of the atmosphere, over 1,000 kilometers below the cloud tops. Very interesting. It's a gas giant, and yet there might be life? That's crazy. Let's see. Where pressure compresses Chaffin's hydrogen into a liquid state. Proof proof of life in this environment would prove many long-standing theories, or disprove. Unfortunately, only a probe with extremely expensive Mass Effect generators could survive the crushing pressure long enough to send back useful data, and probe would be lost in the attempt. Simple expense makes investigation doubtful. That's unfortunate. That sounds very cool. Also unfortunate that means apparently there's nothing to scan there. Don't know if that's a coincidence or if that is because it is so difficult to scan that planet. But anyways, Netmos is the place we're looking for here. In fact, before we do, let's just take a look at our journal here to see what that little message we got was all about. So we see UNC Listening Post Alpha. Listening Post Alpha in the Erebus system is reportedly being attacked by unidentified life forms and is requesting assistance. That was strange. They didn't even know what they're getting attacked by. You would think that if they're getting attacked, they would know. Head to the Erebus system in the 6th Theta Cluster. Investigate Listening Post Alpha on the planet Nepnos. Okay, well, that is certainly what we were planning to do. So let's hop in now. And let's land. Okay, so as we're looking to pick a team here, let's see. In terms of what we're going to want specifically on this planet for this mission, I think we are definitely going to want some crowd control, and we're gonna want some tanky people, is sort of the mix we're looking for. And that means Rex is definitely someone we're gonna want to have, because he fits both of those criteria. Then it starts to get a little trickier, because at that point, once we've chosen him, you kind of need to go with one or the other of those things. We're looking crowd control. Liara would probably be the best, but she's rather squishy. Then Liara, or rather Ashley, would be probably the best tank, but doesn't have much of anything in the way of crowd control. So those would be either the two extremes. Then is there anyone else who'd be sort of a middle ground? I mean, not really. Rex is basically the middle ground, and that's why he's appealing in this circumstance. So I think, using a lot of Liara, why don't we actually work well for us? We might be able to compensate for Liara's lack of tankiness, as long as we're smart about the way that we set her up. So let's try it. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for sure, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, so let's take a look at, I guess, supposedly our squad first here. Liara has 1 point to spend. Rex does not have any. We don't have any. We have 1 on Liara, in which case we'd probably like to go with what? The thing is, the reason why I was hesitant to go with Liara here is because shield's not going to be all that relevant in this mission here. So throwing additional points in something like barrier, not going to be very helpful on this occasion. That being said, I'm not really a huge fan of her other remaining abilities here. I need a bit of recharge time on all biotic abilities, but 2%, I'm not really sure that's going to make any noticeable difference. So I think maybe we do take the barrier upgrade here and we just accept that this level, at least for this mission, not really going to help us. This will be more of a long-term investment for future missions. That's fine, I suppose. What I do want to make sure we do, though, is, especially for us and Liara, let's be very deliberate about what we choose to do with our equipment here. Let's make sure we have the most up-to-date armor, and I think that is in fact the case. Yeah, Liara is wearing a better version of this here. And then, we'll check Rex. Oh, he actually, good thing we did. He's currently wearing the environmental hazard resistance gear, which I do not believe is his strongest statistically. It is not. So yeah, let's throw this on instead. Because this is not an environmental hazard world. We should be fine going with it. But it's just, like I said, statistically better piece of gear. Although it's only level 6, which means it does not have 2 upgrade spots, which is, he actually doesn't have any. Doesn't have any armor that is a high enough level to get 2 of those upgrade slots. That's unfortunate, because I think most people are at that point now. Let's see, Liara is... We are not. Ooh, we're using level 4. We should probably do something about that relatively soon. But anyways, perhaps more importantly, perhaps most importantly, I want to make sure that we have these medical exoskeletons, or the equivalent on, the toxin resistance and health regeneration. That is going to be very, very crucial here. And also reduction in power cooldown. Very useful for power-based characters like us and like Liara. So we have level 8 on, my guess is that's more or less the highest level that we have for that. Check with Liara, though. She is 7, and then there's another upgrade spot as well. If we could throw a second one on for her, that'd be fantastic. Oh yeah, we have 8. Let's see, collectively that means she has what? Excuse me, that was definitely not what we had equipped. He has, oh, actually, 110% toxin resistance, 8.8 life regeneration per second, and 15% reduction in power cooldown. That sounds perfect. Perfect for what we're looking for here. So I think that does make me feel a lot better about my concerns that I had about including Liara on this mission. Glad that we have those upgrades. Let's make sure that we still have something decent for Rex here. He does have some built-in life regeneration with his passive tree as a Krogan, so it's not as urgent for him. Could even just throw on pure damage protection with ablative coating. So what did we have on him? That is actually equivalent to what we had, 18% damage protection. That's not a terrible thing by any means, but we might still prefer if we have any of those medical exoskeletons remaining. Let's see, toxin resistance, health regeneration. It's level 7, but I think that's probably still sufficiently good for us to prefer that. And, ooh, we have a better amp for you, Rex? We might. Depends what we prefer here. Duration versus power versus cooldown. I mean, we have a whole bunch of biotic users here. Liara has the great biotic amp, and I think that is deservedly so, because she is our pure biotic, of course. We might prefer to go with duration versus cooldown. I mean, I'm thinking of stasis being, for the most part, our preferred biotic ability. So the duration is pretty sweet, but also, I mean, cooldown to be able to use it more frequently is also quite good too. Power bonus is probably not quite as relevant, because we're mostly going pure crowd control and not so much on the damage side, at least with our abilities on the biotic side. So I think we probably just settle for what we have right now. I think this works. Okay, let's save here. And now let's take a look at our map. What do we have going on here? So we have some anomalies, and we have the listening post, along with this debris. The listening post is at least theoretically the place where we are supposed to try to come to this person's aid. So that is probably the quote-unquote final place we'll be looking to go. Although, there may be... we may just go for a loop around here, either clockwise or counterclockwise, making this roughly halfway, or our halfway point around the planet, and then we'll finish the latter half after we check out what this is all about. We're relatively close to this anomaly here, so I'd say maybe we go counterclockwise here. Basically start at this and then work our way around here, and then once we've done that, we'll continue and finish the loop. Let's try that out. So, on the move here, and we don't have a great idea of what to expect on this planet, because of course, we heard some mysterious, unidentified enemy that this person who was calling for our help was saying was pinning them down. We don't know what that is. Here, we are approaching our first anomaly. Know what it is? Seemingly not. Looks like it's more or less right where we're pointing our cannon right now. Don't see anything. What is that? appears to be it. It's a buried safe box. Okay. Check it out. Recover it, and let's break through this way. It's a medallion. One of the miners had a League of One medallion. It's possible he discovered it while they were digging. There's no way to know for certain. Okay. Oh, that'll give us some more monies and experience. That's certainly a good thing. Now, let's see. So next, at least of the things we know about, would be this debris down here. But of course, there's always that chance there might be other things that we don't see loaded on our map. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for those types of things as well. One other thing. I do believe there's technically a game-crashing bug on this planet, if I'm not mistaken, that I will do my best to try to avoid, but to some extent, it may be hard to avoid that altogether. And so I think what we will aim to do here is just be a little bit more aggressive with our saving, just in case we do find ourselves crashing, so that way, you know, we don't have to redo the entire planet. That would be, of course, unfortunate. So, you know, we'll do what we can, basically, to try to work around that. I see that we have some minerals here, as well as that debris. Let's go a little bit off to the side here to get the minerals first, if we could get over this ledge, which perhaps not from that angle, but perhaps from this angle, yes. Oh! What do we have here? Is that... Can't tell if that's actually our debris. It doesn't look like debris. It looks a lot more like, say, some kind of base. Signs of enemies outside it? I don't think so. Let's start with the minerals. Which are here, I believe? It's like titanium. So let's nab this. And get some titanium. And now, let's just take another look at our map and see if we know... Get any further? No, I think it still says debris. It still says debris. No further description as to what this really is. But I think what I'd actually like us to do, I would like us to double back here on a future occasion. I think we will want to actually save that for now. Actually, that does not appear to be the location of the debris. Debris appears to be further in this direction. Yeah. So I think we'll go to the debris in that case, and we'll see if we learn more about whatever that, what looks to be some kind of base, might be later on. What is this? Looks like a probe. Crash probe, that it is. Check it out. Salvage. That is a large wall of orange blocks at about 5 o'clock there. But okay, we have cryo explosive and we have shield interface. I think it's just pure shields, but like I was saying, shields, at least for this planet, not so much something that we're looking for, I don't think. So, like I was saying before, though, I think we probably do want to be a little bit more aggressive here. But is it this? I think it is. It's either this planet or perhaps one of the other planets that we're going to visit soon that has that crashing, potential crashing error. So, or bug. So we'll just make a point of trying to save more frequently. Got this large flat area down here. Which, you know what I tend to say... Excuse me, Mako? I'm not controlling anything right now. I'll have you know. We just slid halfway across the planet. While our wheels were not touching the ground, because... Mako physics. Yeah, actually, let's take a look at our map here, because I think, yeah, at this point we are heading toward our destination, so to speak. Our listening post that we are expecting to find whoever it was. In fact, I believe we know her name. Who was asking for some help, and what is this here? See some red dots, and there appears to be some weapons firing. Yeah, there are definitely weapons firing. What exactly is the deal here? Let's see. I think we gotta pull out some weapons here. We see what appear to be some Rachni. Let's do something about this. We've got, what? At least one here. One there. Perhaps more as well. We've got what appears to be some friends taking cover behind this cover, and they appear to have some big turrets, so seems like they have a decent setup here. But based on their message, it seems like they could still use quite a bit of help. So let's use some of our crowd control to take care of business now. Let's maybe stasis you. And we'll, let's see, how about remember, our friends will not target these guys who are in stasis unless we explicitly direct them to do so. So that does make matters a little bit more difficult here. That one is down. Oh, we have another one here, though. And we've got the classic Mass Effect 1 line, I will destroy you! But, anyways. Ooh, they are blocked? Excuse me? Oh, well, I mean, she was using the ability that I was probably about to instruct her to use anyway. That works fine with me. Is he dead? Dead yet? No, there appear to be more. There definitely are more enemies here. So perhaps we can understand why they're a little bit overwhelmed. That is, seemingly turning into quite a large wave of these Rachni here. Here's if our... Oh, that hit us. You are actually quite close to us right now. I'm curious if our friends here will actually attack the Rachni who are in stasis, or if they function the same as our party members who, like we were just saying, do not do so. And you can now understand why I was saying before that toxin resistance would be quite useful, and shields not so much. Because as we are already starting to see, this is a lot, I mean a lot of Rachni. You know, some of our abilities here are not going to be super helpful against Rachni, unfortunately. But oh man, we've got tons coming this way. No, Rex is not a Rachni, last I checked. Stasis you before you become a huge problem. Okay. We have another Rachni swarm approaching in 1 minute, apparently.
I will destroy you!
Let's talk with Lieutenant Durand.
First Lieutenant Durand, sir. 3rd Brigade, 14th Infantry Regiment, and I am damn glad to see you.
Alright, well, I mean, we're here to help. It looks like you are getting attacked by a whole swarm of Rachni here.
We heard you needed some backup.
Actually, we need to get the hell out of here. But I guess your ship couldn't carry us all.
I mean,
they
you
dropped
probably
us here
could.
a few months back. We get supplies every couple weeks. We didn't see anything local that was more dangerous than lichen.
I mean, how many of you are there?
Yesterday, these animals started coming out of the ground. No idea where they're from. This is what's left out of 90 men.
90?
I'm the ranking officer.
I'm pretty sure you have, what, 3, maybe 4 people here? That, those Rachni got you pretty good, didn't they? Yikes. Okay, let's talk a little bit more. By bombardment, you mean, like, what this kind of attack has been like?
We do have a ship in orbit. We can
Also, we have
bombard
that.
them.
Wouldn't do much good. They're moving around deep underground. The only time they come near the surface, and they're right on our position. You bombard them, you take us out too.
I suppose there's that as well. What about, why is it that you're here to begin with?
Why are you out here in the first place?
There's been a lot of pirate activity in this cluster. We set up a chain of listening posts in the local systems, in case they have a staging base.
Okay. Okay, so the initial reason was to try to combat some pirates, or at least gather more information about them. But as it turns out, they ran into a bunch of Rachni, and I hate to break it to you, but those Rachni are actually a highly intelligent species, one that did, well, wage a very long and bloody war against basically the entire galaxy. So, they're not exactly going to be an easy opponent to take down here.
They're not animals. They're a sentient species. You study history? They're called Rachni.
Never heard of them. Can't say I care.
Well, I
What
mean,
we just
kind
fought
of
was a
relevant.
probe. Our seismic sensors are picking up a crapload more on their way up from underground. We've got 5 minutes, tops.
I mean, pretty sure the timer said 3 minutes, but
We might
okay.
be able to hold them off if
Maybe
we were
even
at
2?
peak, but you can see the fighting's busted this place up.
Yeah, I mean, I would think you would have been in much better shape. You could have handled a wave of, what, maybe 10 total Rachni with 90 people? With 3, now that's a different story, but we can definitely help.
Do what you can to secure your position. We'll see if we can get some of your defenses operational.
Aye, aye, Commander. You heard the man. Everybody pool magazines and grenades.
Okay, we
Take
don't
a
have
leak
much
and a
time
drink while
remaining
you
here.
can. And if anyone wants a smoke, it's as good a time as any.
So, there is actually one way that you can... Hold on. We talk to her again real quickly here. I'm not sure we're going to have time to do so. But, there is another way you can improve
How are
the
those
defenses
repairs
here.
coming?
I ain't slept in.
Though I'm not sure if we are actually able to do so until we fight another wave. Let's take a look at our equipment. We didn't get any additional stuffs after fighting this Rachni. In fact, one thing you'll notice is that you do not get any additional experience at all from fighting these Rachni. Which I think there's some question as to whether that's technically a bug or not.
I will destroy you!
But, yeah, I think either way, we are probably stuck fighting this next wave here, but we will investigate, see if there is theoretically another way to improve our defenses. And of course, one of those being we could fight these Rachni in the Mako. That is one option. But I believe this wave is, yep, about to start. One of the things you might want to pay close attention to, this guy is advancing a little too quickly for my liking. Even though it's about to die. I actually don't know if our friends here can die, or if they're technically immortal. Obviously, we can, and our party members can. But, let's see. Toward us, unfortunately, but okay, there's a lot of them. A whole lot of them. Shut up, quite quick. Ow. So this is why we wanted to bring Liara, was because we knew there were going to be so many Rachni that, or at least I knew there were going to be so many Rachni, that, it would be quite helpful to be able to do things like this, to slow them down. That one did still hit Liara, and even with her 110 toxin resistance, she still took that much damage. I'm actually quite surprised. You are becoming a bit of a problem here. But you see how quickly her life is regenerating once she's no longer in that green life bar. Got a lot coming here, though. And including at least one on the flank here. Let's just put Marksman here, increase our damage a bit. Thank you, Yara. Dead yet? Possibly? Oh. Still a few more. Seemingly. Somewhere. Here. Other thing I was going to say is just double checking to make sure we're using reasonable weapons. Not a bad idea either. Yeah, that hurt us. We definitely did get hit by that. But, okay. Now, we have a minute before the next wave. As you can see here. Let's see if we can chat with Lieutenant.
How are those repairs coming?
Yeah, so she did not mention any repairs, but if we duck in here, usually, alright, I'll minor spoiler here, usually what can happen is that, okay, here we go. Generator has been ripped apart by Rachni claws, leaving the defensive turrets inoperative, as you may have noticed. The people were firing their weapons, these turrets were not. It would be possible to power the turrets off the Mako's engine. This would make it impossible to drive or fire the Mako's own weapons. So we can connect the Mako to the generator, or we can say, no, we'd rather just use the Mako directly. So obviously, for that previous wave, we were fighting on foot. But you don't have to do that. You can choose to fight in the Mako. That way back in Mass Effect 1, the original version, theoretically, under normal circumstances, you would say, okay, well, I prefer to fight on foot because it's worth more experience. Because fighting in the Mako gives you an experience penalty. However, because you're not getting any experience from this mission, or at least from these Rachni, anyway, that's not relevant, and also because in Legendary Edition, they got rid of the Mako experience penalty, so for 2 reasons, that's no longer relevant. So, but nonetheless, I think, why don't we connect the Mako here, and power up these turrets, just to see how effective they can be, and then we'll continue to provide support fire on foot. Have you ever heard of the Rachni? Genghis Khan? No, never heard of him. Well, you know, it's not like they conquered the practically conquered the entire galaxy. How long ago was that? It's technically, I think it was a few hundred years ago, but still. So was Genghis Khan. Alright, so let's connect that. Does that automatically connect? I think it does? Question mark? Yeah, okay. So that says disconnect the Mako. So we should be good there. Let's, before this wave actually starts up, I just want to make sure, like, Rex on the shotgun? Not really sure we're at close enough range, or at least we'd like to not be at close enough range for that to be relevant, or at least preferable. Probably do prefer the assault rifle here, so we'd like to keep those Rachni at medium range. Alright, so we've got 20 seconds here. So these turrets should be up and running now. We can, of course, we haven't really been keeping cover behind these things previously. We've just been kind of standing out in the open, but that's been relatively okay, because, of course, we did make a point of preparing ourselves from a gear standpoint for this mission, with all of our toxin resistance and life regeneration, what have you. So that's why we're a little bit safer going out in the open, but more damage would help. Let's see, in fact, not a terrible idea if we just make sure that our, say, ammo is also going pure damage, because, like, for example, we're going snowblind rounds, which does give a little bit of a damage bonus, but we might prefer on this occasion to instead, say, go with something like either Inferno is probably a little bit more, or probably best would be something like Shredder rounds, well upgraded. Let's see. Yeah, we have level 7 for 40% increased damage. Now, we're not the strongest weapon damage character in our party. That honor probably belongs to Rex, because he actually has combat training. But still, I think we have enough of those Shredder rounds that we can be a little bit greedy throwing them on here. I think probably a similar situation here with Liara. Ooh. Tell you what. We prefer swapping over here? Well, it's Brawler 8. It is definitely lower damage, her current pistol, but that's a huge heatsink improvement with her existing one relative to this switch here. And a little bit better accuracy, that probably not so relevant, but you know, that's firing twice as many rounds before it overheats. She can basically fire this like it's an assault rifle at the moment. I think we might want to keep that. But let's similarly, I mean, she was using polonium rounds. Could give her this level 8 Inferno rounds, which I think would be decent. But I'm thinking it's probably still best to just go with our highest level Shredder rounds, because I think we still have another level 7. Yeah, we've been deliberately trying to stockpile that type of upgrade for this type of purpose. Yeah, and Rex is currently using tungsten for damage against synthetics. That's no good. That's not helping us at all here. We can definitely significantly increase his damage just by throwing on some Shredder rounds for him. And like I said, he's technically the one who would be providing the most damage from weapons, at least of our party members. Alright, so that should improve things a bit here. You guys are doing a little too much on this side. Oh, wait. Way to go, me. Stasising the one that was dead. Also, I, for some reason, cannot currently fire my weapon. There we go. These guys here, and you may see now, we are starting to get some larger projectiles firing at the Rachni. It is a little bit slow, the projectiles, to the point where there's certainly a non-zero chance that they could actually miss the target altogether. And that is one of the reasons why actually having something like stasis can prove to be quite helpful. Locking down the enemy in place so that those large turrets have a higher probability of actually hitting the target. Because I believe, in theory, it would be our highest damage weapon. Instead, yeah, and it does look like we are consistently dealing more damage to the Rachni now, as we were seeing previously. Even if we were firing directly at Rachni for an extended period of time, they still were able to get more or less, not within melee range, certainly close enough to hit us with their projectile attacks, whereas now, certainly less so the case. Like, that was sort of the range they were getting at before, consistently, whereas that's probably the closest anyone has gotten thus far. Maybe that guy. Who's left? Several of these dudes. Let's use more of our abilities here. Probably about to go down anyway. They're down. There's one over here, right? Nope. They are getting hit by somebody. Thought it was on the flank. They're coming. Yeah, absolutely the flank. That's quite a ways away, in fact. That missed. Which is too far away to actually hit you. Oh, you just didn't care about the stasis, did you? Or maybe you were already technically near death animation. Or coming from this side. If you sneaked up from that angle, don't they? Let's go down. Thank you. Think that maybe, yeah, all of them, at least for that wave here. Let's see if Lieutenant Durand has anything to say now.
Holy hell, sir. Talk about a near-run thing. You alright?
I mean, you seem to be doing fine. How are you?
Never mind me. Are you alright?
Still on my feet. But we've been fighting for almost 26 hours straight.
Yikes.
None of us will be standing for long. There's one other thing I should mention. One of our other listening posts went offline 3 days ago.
Oh?
I don't know if it's coincidence, a pirate raid, or what, but if you want to check in on them.
Yeah, that sounds like something we should do.
We'll check on them. I don't know why there are Rachni loose out here, but I intend to find out.
Ma'am, we're getting a signal from one of the ground scan UAVs. A big hollow space about 500 meters under the surface.
Right, that must be it. That must be where they're coming from. My people aren't in any condition for a clearing operation, though.
Don't worry, we'll take care of it.
Just point us in the right direction.
You don't have to do that, Commander. We've bled them. We can probably hold until a bigger ship arrives to get us off-world. If you want to take a throw at it, we'll give you the coordinates. But it's your call. You saved our asses, Commander. Thanks.
Awesome. Alright, so technically speaking, this mission, if we look at our journal, I believe may be considered complete here. Listening Post Alpha in the Earbit system is reportedly being attacked by unidentified life forms and is requesting assistance. So yeah, we've completed this part. I think this Destroy Rachni base is technically optional, but we will, of course, go about doing that. So, if we are to take down the Rachni base, let's take a look at our map here and see. There is a Rachni-infested mine, so you may remember as we were checking out that titanium deposit previously, we were saying how it seemed like there was some other type of base nearby, and we didn't really know anything about it at the time. And so we raised a bit of an eyebrow at it, if you will. But now that we have gone to the primary listening base here, we now know that that is a Rachni-infested mine, and so we will definitely check that out. I think, though, at this stage, I mean, it is a little bit unfortunate, the route here, but I mean, it's either go to this next, and then have to go to basically the opposite side of the map to check out the areas that we've not yet been to, or go to the areas that we've not yet been to and end up on the opposite side of the map having to cross over to get to this infested mine. But I think we might want to go with the latter route because, I mean, either way, we're going to want to try to explore the vast majority of this planet, right? And I do generally prefer to finish with the quest objectives. Did we get any equipment from this either? Even after having completed all of the fight? Apparently not. I don't know if you ever do get any experience from this at all. Because the individual Rachni, you definitely don't. Definitely don't. But I'm not sure if... Oh, is there a metagel? There is a metagel, or medikit here. +1 metagel, which we probably didn't really need, but sure. Just check if there's anything over here as well. Perhaps something a little more relevant. It's okay. The Rachni are gone now, I believe. Got more metagel, okay. Oh, and an upgrade kit, okay. Sledgehammer rounds and snowblind rounds. I do like the sledgehammer rounds. We even use the snowblind a little bit, but sledgehammer, of course, knocking people back. So remember I was saying how I believe there is a bug here, or I think what it technically is whenever you're walking by an area where where you have fought Rachni, and they are supposed to be dead, but their bodies haven't gone away yet, the game might technically be trying to spawn them back in, and so that causes the game to get all confused and crash. So we do need to disconnect the Mako for us to actually head out here, unless we want to continue on foot, which I don't really think we want to do. So let's carry on in that case and run over all their infrastructure.